Good morning, everybody. Well, we're beginning week 5, which means we're on the downhill slope leading to the end of the term, and I know all of you have been working really hard on this material. This week, we take a turn into the practical aspects of running a court, and we talk about methods, actual methods, software, paper-based methods, etc., that courts use to create their dockets and their calendars, and then to maintain those schedules of events that are occurring within the court. A docket, as I just said, really is a list of the cases that have been filed with a court within a certain term. A calendar is exactly what it sounds like. It's the schedule of the hearings and motions and trials that are surrounding those cases that will occur during a certain period of time. Usually nowadays, courts, even the small courts in rural areas, will use various software programs to create and maintain their dockets. There may be a few courts here and there, there probably are a few courts here and there, that still use paper-based methods to do so. Your discussion board this week and your Milestone Two both ask that you do a little bit of research into these methods that are used to create and maintain calendars. And then the discussion board also asks that you extract from those methods that you're going to be reading about in your readings some of the elements that you think are the most important in allowing the courts to maintain their calendars and dockets. That is to say, maintain their efficiency without losing sight of the most important thing that courts do, which is to provide justice for the people who are involved in them. And that is true whether we're talking about criminal cases, where justice should be served in an obvious way, or civil cases where justice is served in terms of assigning liability to the person who has caused damage or harm to someone else. You will be reading about various methods that are used really to make the court more efficient, and you understand, I'm sure, how tempting it is to adopt new computer programs, new software, new online systems that help things run more efficiently. They're very attractive, and the new shiny things that are out there that we can use to make our lives easier, well, those are wonderful, and I don't denigrate them in any way. But we shouldn't allow these shiny new things off in the distance to distract us from the main purpose of a court, which is to provide a forum where justice can be dispensed after all of the evidence in a case has been heard and considered in a rational and objective way. We don't want these methods of efficiency, which make things run faster, to interfere with justice. Speed and efficiency don't always equate to ultimate justice. So that when you're reading all the readings in this week's assignments, when you're doing your research, when you're thinking about these elements of running a court, remember, keep in the back of your mind the important thing that is justice. I know you won't lose sight of that really voluntarily, but it's very tempting to hair off in search of efficiency and to forget about the fact that sometimes slowing down, taking time to hear all of the evidence in a case, to really consider all sides of a case, all sides of an issue, even though that takes more time, even though it might make the court a little bit less efficient in the short term, will in the long term be much better, because it will provide justice, which will in turn increase the overall efficiency of a court, because it leads to fewer appeals, fewer cases of having to reconsider what a court has done. My video this week will be very, very short. In fact, I'm just about finished with it, except that I want to say to you, please, please, as you are writing your Milestone 2, which is due this week, please refer to the grading rubric. Make sure that you fully and accurately address all of the elements of that rubric. This one is I think it's a little confusing, to be honest with you. The milestone is asking you to describe the methods, not anything else. It's very cut and dried, really. The methods that courts use, state and federal courts use, to create and maintain their dockets. And by methods, I mean the software they use, the programs, the PACER system in the federal courts, whatever systems your particular state courts or whatever courts you want to choose to describe might use. They might be paper-based methods, that's fine. Just describe those. Whatever the software is, whatever the paper-based method is, just describe those. That's what Milestone 2 really is asking you to do. It also is asking you to compare and contrast the state system and the federal system, which is more efficient, which one handles its calendars and dockets more efficiently in your opinion, and what is the evidence that you have to support that opinion. You're also going to be asked to discuss venue, but not really in any sense other than in determining how the venue of where our case, our final project case, will be tried might impact the efficient disposition of that case. Now, if you have done your week 3 and week 4 assignments correctly, or if you've redone them in accordance with my remarks, then you know that our case is going to be tried in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, which is the federal district court in Washington, D.C., that is closest to where the bank robbery took place, in Washington. How is that choice of venue impactful on the efficient disposition of the case? And the way to answer that really is just to consider the kind of docket that court might have. Is it very crowded? Do they have enough judges to take care of all the cases that are filed there, etc.? That's really what the impact of venue means. Another aspect of the case you're going to be asked to consider in Milestone 2 is the matter of a continuance. You'll see in reading the final case scenario that you are told that the defense attorneys have asked for a 4-month continuance in the case. How might, if the court grants that continuance, how might that affect the efficient disposition of the case, or how might it affect the rest of the court's docket and calendar? Because, of course, this isn't the only case that the court has to consider. So those are what you need to do. Again, as always, I don't want to give you zeros on anything. I hate to do it, and I know you hate to get them. So please refer to the grading rubric as you write your Milestone 2. If you have any questions about it, I'm always here to answer your questions by email or via the general questions discussion board. So have a great week. I hope it's not snowy where you are. It's beginning to snow here, so I'll see you in the discussion board. Have a great week. Bye-bye.